Welcome back. Ruth Mompati, A Life of Courage and Service, is a biography written by renowned poet and writer Dr. Mongane Serote on the exceptional leader, internationalist and African National Congress cadre. It covers Mompati's early life and political awakening, her personal and political life while in exile as one of the very first women members of the ANC's military wing, Umkhonto weSizwe. For more on the book and the life of Ruth Mompati, we're joined by author Dr. Mongane Serote. Dr. Serote, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you in studio this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
First of all, take us through the synopsis of this book and how you got to write about Ruth Mompati.
Perhaps before that, because Ruth knew two people, Isop Pahat, Aziz Pahat, not only knew them, but they worked together very closely in London. But, I would like also to pass my condolences to the families, the Pahat families. We buried Comrade Aziz, my friend, also yesterday. And I'm relating this to the fact that they worked very closely. Yes. With Ruth, when Ruth was the chief rep of the African National Congress in London and traversed Europe propagating and working for the African National Congress against the apartheid system. Yeah. The manner in which we approached the book was I was approached by the current premier of Northwest, Bushimape, when he said, Ruth is of age. It's very important that we record her life. Would I do it? That's how it started. And also I went and said to Ruth, I'm ready to do it, but please can I ask two questions? Yes. You are my leader, you are my elder. I'm going to be truthful and honest about this. Do we agree? And we agreed that that's how I should. After that, it was every weekend for about 3 years or so, where I had to shuttle from Johannesburg to Vryburg, where she lived, to interview her, to discuss, interview, to walk with her the routes that she walked when she was, when she came back from exile in Kimberley, Vryburg, Mahikeng, and so on. But also to meet with the young people that she had mobilized, the people that she had mobilized, having been away something like 28 years, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember well, 28 years or 30 years from South Africa, had to re-engage the villages, the townships of Northwest, of Northern Cape. So I worked with her those areas, in the rural areas, in the townships, in Vryburg, the city itself, in Kimberley, the city itself. It was an extremely important experience also for me as an ANC member. Yes. To see how a leader mobilizes the people, and successfully so. You know, Ruth would get into a supermarket to buy bananas, but we'd take 2 hours in that supermarket because she'd go to the tellers, to the people who are coming to buy, to the senior people, and talk to them about South Africa, about the world, about what to do. Say to the young people who are tellers, don't end here, be something else after this. Make sure that you educate yourself. Right. To the senior people, you treat the workers very well here. We must make sure that the workers feel that they are South Africans and they belong to this country. Don't exploit them. By the time we come, we have a bunch of bananas, but we have talked to a lot of people. And when she gets out of the supermarket, she'll identify that somebody will identify her and they'll stop and talk. And again, we'll discuss South Africa. We'll discuss the future of South Africa, what must happen, and so on. This is Ruth. When she takes a humane approach to politics, when she takes a commitment and a direction where she has to find a manner to locate the people that she's talking to within the politics, within the country. Discuss with them. The other very important thing, depending on who she was talking, Ruth was an internationalist. You know, she'd bring her experience of where she lived, where she worked as an NC member, as a mobilizer of women.
Yes.
We're mobilizing African women through the Pan-African Organization of Women. And also the International Women's Organization. I'm trying to give you a very broad overview of how she, not only in terms of the world, but also in terms of organizations that she was engaged in to mobilize, not only the ANC. And this is how we should look at the struggle, the South African struggle.
And indeed, and the fact that her legacy is centered on humanity, on the values, on the importance of serving the people. I quite like the example you've made of entering into a supermarket and then engaging with just about everybody there. And because this book, in part, is sort of it documents the contribution that women have made in the struggle. But some of these women, we don't know their stories. So, what's the importance of sharing these stories?
It's very important for young people in the country to understand that there were women who, I always say, but what should we have done if we know that? What would we have done if everybody in the country knows that the Women's League was founded in 1948? I was 4 years old when it was founded. Yeah. What does that mean for our country? What should we learn from it? How should we own that knowledge of that organizational work of women from 1948 to now in the country?
Yes.
It's not a thing that started yesterday to say women are part and parcel of the struggle. Women must also be respected in our country, you know.
And you also got into her Setswana heritage, including her beliefs and relationships in general. So just share more on that.
Let me say something. I don't know what I thought about Ruth, who I thought she is, because the first time I met her in Vryburg, she spoke such impeccable Setswana. I was absolutely surprised. But I shouldn't have been surprised if I knew her very well, as I thought I did, knowing that she was actually born in a village in Tlapeng in Northern Cape, and grew up in Khanyisa, which are small villages, which I walked with her in those two villages, small villages. We entered this place, and Ruth became a Motswana woman, spoke impeccable Setswana, spoke with everybody there with respect, and you could see also that they had a lot of respect for her.
Oh, yes.
But she engaged them with an understanding of who she is and who they are, and how all of them were actually the same people. And this is the thing that she didn't stand above them, She became part and parcel of them in manner, in speech, in using idioms,
Right. And I see that you've already launched the book last month in September.
Yes.
Any significance in launching the book in September, as it is her birthday month, or was it totally coincidental?
It's a birthday month. It was a beautiful coincidence in that it came out in August, and we prepared to, actually what we wanted to do was to launch it in Vryburg, to honor her and to say to the people that here is the person who comes from here.
Okay.
And this is what was saying about her as the ANC.
Right. Dr. Serote, we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for having taken up the courage of documenting the life and times and the legacy of Ruth Mompati.
Thank you very much.
We thank you. Well, struggle stalwart and renowned poet Dr. Mongane Serote on the inspiration behind the need to tell the story of ANC stalwart Ruth Mompati. Dr. Serote recently published the book titled Ruth Mompati, A Life of Courage and Service.